Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to PWF Empire as we review the latest big event offering from NXT. And this is NXT TakeOver San Antonio. It was headlined by the big money match, the biggest money match in the history of NXT, Bobby Roode versus the NXT champion Shinsuke Nakamura. But when everything was said and done, it looks as if we have a new NXT champion, and that champion is Glorious. This is Jay and Cass for you guys tonight. What's up, Cass? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm pretty feeling good. I'm sweating a bit, but yeah. Once again, NXT delivers, but we about to break that down here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Let's go ahead and start with the first match of the night. The opening contest for WWE NXT TakeOver San Antonio was Eric Young of what the hell is the name of it? Sanity?
Sanity.
Okay, yes. See, I'm out of practice a little bit. I gotta admit
But
to
people,
this.
people don't.
It's been a
Yeah,
while.
people don't be surprised if I'm going to be able to analytically break what just happened on NXT tonight. Considering I actually watched the weekly show. Damn it!
Look, there's a lot of wrestling to do. And plus,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I, this has been a busy week for me, okay? You already know. I told you what happened on Monday. So
Do we have enough time to so you can tell it again? Do
no,
I need to
no,
go?
no,
Do
no,
I
no,
need
no.
to go to get the scissors?
No. Yeah, I have the scissors ready now. Like I have a pair of scissors with me at all times just in case, some shit pops off. But for
Yeah.
for
Eric
takeover
Young versus
Tye
Tye
Dillinger.
Dillinger.
And Eric Young ends up getting the win in this match, but it was not without some great effort from Tye Dillinger. And I gotta say, that dude is a friggin' awesome
Oh yeah, he's
babyface.
a
He
star.
really is.
Yeah, he's definitely a very good um yeah, he's definitely a good baby face. Like he really is like he just plays that man, I am just so swaggy to take over, it's just so exciting.
Like,
But
just
yeah,
look at
he
the
can
moments in the match where he was like garnering sympathy from the crowd, and it
yeah,
was
that's
just
what I
so
meant to say.
effective. Like, you could feel him getting closer and closer to that victory, and you have those great moments in the match where he's battling away sanity, and it looks as if he's got the momentum at his
And
back, and it's
then
just gonna push him to the victory. And it didn't work out that way though.
yeah, and of course, do you know Big Damo?
No.
That was the guy with the beard with the hair outside the ring. That
Okay.
was a yeah, that's Big Damo, and of course Alexander Wolfe were at ringside. I mean, the match was good. I'm not going like here's the thing, it was a good opener for what it
Mm-hmm.
was. I honestly really this is a match that I really could have saw on a weekly episode of
Mm-hmm.
NXT, and I know that's definitely saying a lot, but especially with the way the roster is right now. But yeah, good match, good way to kick off the show, especially with that 10 game, which has been sweeping the nation like hell.
Yeah, this match definitely did the job for me. My favorite sequence in the match is when Tye Dillinger he was going into his what do they call it on WWE 2K17 when you basically see like that blue sea. Yeah, he was going into his blue sea mode. Like he was starting to clean up there when he had that momentum that led into him going to the top rope and doing that belly to belly suplex.
Oh yeah, the
That was
com
some good stuff.
oh yeah, the comeback. And that was
Yeah, the
a and
comeback.
here's
That's
the
what it's
thing.
called.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the sequence into EY's lifting neckbreaker was phenomenal. I thought that was very well done to help get that finisher over. I will say I think it was kind of overplayed to have the babyface like overcome the group at ringside. I just
Hmm.
think that's so overplayed on the main roster. I don't need to see it here. But I honestly felt that Tye Dillinger would have been fine getting the win here because it looked like they were trying to tell a story with him for
Hmm.
so long. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, while Tye Dillinger is a good babyface, he can get that sympathy very easily. Eventually, nobody's going to want to cheer for a loser. And I think that's the important aspect that really needs to be taken into account, unless he's just that damn good at his job.
Okay. We're going to move from Tye Dillinger versus Eric Young to the second match at TakeOver. This was Roderick Strong versus Andrade Cien Almas.
What
Roderick
I tell
Strong
you,
gets the victory here.
what I tell you.
What did you tell me?
I told people not to sleep on these two, and boy, did they not. Like,
Well, I mean, in some parts, because this match was weird for me. I felt like there were some really nice spots, but there were
Mhm.
some dead moments in between that I didn't really know what was going on. Like, because I
How
sit
well do
here,
you know the character? How well do you know Roddy, and how well do you know Almas?
well, I know both of them. I've seen NXT. I'm familiar with
But how well you
Andrade.
know with Roddy?
Wh- why are you asking that question?
Because the thing is, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a quick pause here. Like, I was really mainly looking at this NXT Takeover show very, very closely because there's a lot of new names on this roster. There's a lot of there were a lot of new names on this card that not a lot of people was familiar with, and I was just very curious to see how this crowd was gonna react to. And I know we'll get to more to it later. But
Well, we could
Roderick
actually
Strong,
talk about that now because I guess this would provide an example as to what I'm talking about. There was one point in the match where they had this big spot, and immediately after they had the spot, the crowd was dead. They weren't saying anything at all. And then slowly they built up to a "This is awesome" chant. And that was very weird for me
yeah, it
because
wasn't that loud.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, if this is so awesome, if you think it's so
Why aren't you
awesome,
cheering?
yeah, exactly. Why aren't you cheering? Why was it completely
Yeah, and
dead after
also
the spot and then you had to work your way up to a "This is awesome" chant? So it's like there were very nice spots, but there were a few moments in between those spots
like there
that
was no
it was,
story.
yeah, exactly. It was a little bit disjointed. But at the very same time, I look at this and I say it was a good match. There were just a few
Yeah, it was.
moments that were off.
Yeah, and the thing is, this just shows you that sometimes I guess you do need to watch and I'm not calling you out, Jay. I'm just saying this just shows that sometimes you actually do need to actually watch the weekly specials because I'll be honest with you, like this match was randomly thrown 2 weeks in advance.
Hmm.
It seriously was from what I was watching. And like they didn't like really have any problems until this past recent episode of NXT when Almas attacked Roddy. That was pretty much the build. So if I had to give any issues with this, I would say the build. And I don't usually say that when it comes to a takeover show because 9 out of 10 times they practically have the build ready 2 weeks after the last one. But yeah, this one was kind of thrown together. Not to say that it was bad or nothing, but it's just like you can have a good match all you want, but again, if you're not able to get the crowd more familiar with you, and I honestly think that was one of the problems. Like I will say, Cien Almas has done a tremendous job with being a heel. You can tell he's more comfortable in this role.
Yeah.
He can generate more heel heat. This is where he should have been from the very beginning. Roddy definitely needs to work on like getting the crowd behind him because we heard Roderick Strong chants. Not like you can tell that people are familiar with him. It's just if they're it looks like they're building him towards something, you just need to get to the point to where whatever happens, it'll be a major impact. And that way Roderick Strong will definitely be one of the top guys in NXT. And I really do think he could be that. They just really, really need to work on his character because right now it's just not doing for the people for the most part.
Yeah, because it's one thing to know someone and like them and cheer for
Mm-hmm.
them. And you could definitely tell he has that. There are people who know Roderick Strong and they want to cheer for him because of that. But at the very same time, you have to plant your feet where you are. Like you have to establish some roots
Yeah.
there. And of course, that's going to take a little bit of time. We can see in the case of Andrade Cien Almas, it took him a while to get going, and I think that I'll agree with you. He's where he needs to be right now because
Mm-hmm.
if you look back when he came to NXT with like
He was in boo like hell.
the suspenders and the hat, and there's a certain aura of douchebaggery that surrounds him to where you look at where he is right now and you're like, damn, why didn't you guys do that from the beginning?
Yeah.
Like the douchebag thing, it fits, it works for him. So yeah, Roderick, I guess, is going to take him a little bit of time to
I think he'll be the
establish
next.
himself.
I definitely think he will be one of the top dogs in NXT. I think that's obviously painted. They just again need to get that character more over with the crowd because it's one thing to do it in front of Full Sail, but
Hmm.
when you move out of that, I'll tell you.
Next up, we have the tag team championship
Yes.
match. DIY,
Yes.
Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus the
Versus the revival.
authors
Oh wait, no, not
of
the revival. The Office of Pain, right?
yeah, the authors of pain.
Oh yeah,
Speaking
yeah,
of
yeah.
DIY versus the revival, they won the NXT match of the year. So yeah. I thought
and
I'd just
tag
jump in
team
there
of
and
the
save you,
year.
but
Yeah, and tag team of the year. Which obviously, when I looked at the list, I'm like, I love American Alpha, but we all know who rightfully
yeah,
deserves this list.
mm-hmm, yep. Uh, so yeah, the Authors of Pain, they are your new NXT Tag Team Champions.
Which shocked me, which shocked the hell out of me because I don't know if you know, Jay, but this is one of the matches that what I heard was going to be happening at Takeover was one of the ones that was kind of concerning to me
Mm-hmm.
because this is again, I looked at this show. This is a new roster, new faces. Authors of Pain are one of those new faces, and this is their first major opportunity, their first big money match at a takeover where DIY has actually been on the big stage, has actually been able to deliver. And let me tell you something, the way that this match was, how good it was specifically because of DIY. It
Well,
was specifically because of them.
I have like both teams showed up and showed out, and
I'm just saying, like from like actually making the other person like look like an
mm-hmm,
absolute beast and a
yeah,
monster. They accomplished that tremendously because that's pretty much what their job was tonight.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a great job in this match. They played that role of the babyface team very effectively. I
Stressful.
love how they tried to battle into the match, and
Hmm.
they found a way to make sure they had offense. DIY had offense, but it wasn't too much to the point where you're like, okay, this is friggin' unbelievable because of how strongly they book the Authors of Pain.
Very strong.
There were some great moments in this match. I see. I have grown to really like the Authors of Pain
There
and
you
their
go.
style in the ring.
I
When
told you,
Johnny Gargano, he does that dive through the ropes
and he missed.
for the tackle, and he just swatted him. One of the Authors of Pain just swatted him to the damn ground.
Smart.
I like that. You had that double team submission in the middle of the ring. The way that I believe it was
Hmm.
Rezar who picked up
Yeah,
Johnny
Razor
Gargano, slammed him
and
on
slam.
top of Ciampa to break up the other submission. There was a lot of really good stuff in this match. There was high drama, and honestly, this was. I was just sitting there like, God damn, this is a really good match. And
Did I
just to
tell
hear the
you?
crowd boo the hell out of the Authors of Pain just
Good.
before they were making their way to victory, that was good stuff. That was good
Yeah,
stuff.
they're doing their jobs. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like it is refreshing in a sense in terms of the tag team division NXT because it's been a while. I would actually say since the Ascension that we've had like an actual dominant team. However, the difference between the damn Ascension and the Authors of Pain is that the Authors of Pain have actually been protected enough. They
Mm-hmm.
actually have a Hall of Famer that's been backing them, which is Paul Ellering has just helped them tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And Draven G has a question in the chat is who the hell does Authors of Pain go fighting besides DIY again? TM61 is out for a while, so that really just leaves Revival and Sanity. Draven G, that actually was one of my concerns because one of the things about this match was DIY just won the belts. Authors of Pain have been protected very, very well. They're going into their first big match. I honestly felt as if they really could have gotten away with a multi-person match
Mm-hmm.
for the tag straps
To have
because
somebody else take the pin.
because I really, really did not think DIY should have lost here. Even though I do get why you can't have the Authors of Pain go on a tear like they do and then them immediately have them lose to the champions. Like honestly, and here's the thing: if you think about it, this is like booking one on one. Like you build two teams very well, then they face for the championships. But then it's like you don't want that other team to lose, but then you need to keep this team protected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think DIY did enough to where it was believable enough for the Authors of Pain to win, and they could still come out looking good in the end. Because that's one of the things that I always look to in any championship match
Mm-hmm.
is do both parties come out looking good? Are we going to see something different the next time these guys face off? Because now the Authors of Pain are champions. It's going to be very interesting because it's not going to be fun to see squash after squash after squash after squash, especially when it comes to the champions. Because unfortunately, stuff like that will get old very quick. So, Authors of Pain, congratulations on being the new NXT Tag Team Champions. But Yeah, it's going to be a long road. And honestly, let's give DIY and Office of Pain credit. Like, they
Of
were able to
course.
put on a good match without the revival in it. And let me tell
Yes.
you something. That's a very, very tall order.
Yeah, and just to put the focus on the authors of pain specifically, in so many
Mhm.
cases in WWE, we'll see people who are protected in booking and they're going into those squash matches, and that's how they build them up to be this powerful force. And it doesn't translate to those high level matches that
Mhm.
often, or at the very least, as often as we would like to see it. But in this specific case here, it did. Like, I really felt like this
Yeah.
match was a big deal. And a lot of that has to do with DIY just being
There you
such
go.
great faces. And it has to do with what the authors of pain bring to the table as well. So I freaking love this
Didn't
match.
I
This
tell
was a
you?
really good
Did,
match.
did, did, did I
Yes,
tell you? Didn't I
yes,
tell you?
yes.
I
Like, this
told
has
I
been. You guys haven't heard much of it because we haven't done many podcasts, but we still talk about wrestling off air. Cass, he just knew that this was going to be a damn good match. He knew they were going to get some
I told
time,
you.
and okay, yes, you got it. I've learned not to question you when it comes to tag team wrestling, or at the I did
Or
before
NXT
when
for that matter.
yeah. I guess NXT and tag team wrestling at the same time because I remember you tried to argue in favor of the SmackDown tag team division and I wasn't having that at all. But
Yeah.
that's in the past. Let's keep it moving.
There you go.
At this point, this is when we had that big shocking "what the hell is going on here" moment, right?
Oh
Yeah. So all
boy.
of a sudden, I hear a voice, and I'm like, "Wait a minute." I recognize that voice, but it's kind of weird because I'm not used to hearing that voice in this venue.
Mhm.
The camera goes to the ring, and who is it? Seth
Seth freaking
freaking Rollins
Rollins.
in the middle of the ring saying, "Oh, this is TakeOver. Well, damn it, it's about time that I take over this show." And
It
he
got lit.
calls out Triple H. He calls out
Great
Triple H.
continuity.
Triple H comes out. Triple H starts to walk towards the ring a little bit, but he's like, nah, He signals for the security guards. Seth Rollins is battling security guards, and they end up, the numbers game ends up catching up with him, and they, drag him off to the back. My first thought
Phenomenal
was,
segment.
holy shit. Like, what the hell is
But
going on here? It was great stuff.
phenomenal segment. Phenomenal segment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and also it keeps great continuity at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because didn't Triple H quote unquote cost Rollins the Rumble spot this past Monday?
Yep.
And finally, doesn't it logically of the character of Seth Rollins to actually go to where Triple H always is nine
Mm-hmm.
out of 10 times, and that's at a takeover? Like, honestly, where was he when we were in Toronto like a couple of months ago? But honestly, like that's just a side note. But yeah, great stuff for
Maybe he's
Rollins.
not the
Great
smartest guy.
continuity.
It takes him a while to catch on, and that's okay. Not everyone can be a
Yeah,
genius. Yeah.
Draven G. Yeah, Draven G. I agree. This was the best Rollins that he's been booked since he came back. Like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, Devin. Like, this is the Seth Rollins I wanted to see the night when he came back, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just builds the story. And again, it's probably going to continue into later on. I mean, later on tomorrow at the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Seth
good
Rollins,
stuff.
he was a friggin' thug. Like, I'm not calling this dude out. I'm going to your house, kicking your damn
Yeah.
door down, and what's up?
Hey,
Pull up, catch me outside.
how great would it have been if Triple H was actually about to go down to the ring, and then all of a sudden he would have sent the revival down to sick on
See,
Rollins.
I was thinking about that. Like, what if Triple H called out an NXT guy? Was like, "This is your moment to shine. Go and if you kick his ass, the
That would have
kingdom
been
is
great.
yours." Maybe we'll get something like that tomorrow. Who knows? Like, because Seth Rollins, he's not in the Royal Rumble, at least
For now.
yeah, right now. I was thinking, he gets into the ring in the Royal Rumble and Triple H sends out an NXT guy or something like that. It would have been cool if that happened on TakeOver tonight,
Put
but
somebody over.
yeah, even
But
still,
yeah,
great segment. I loved it.
yeah, really good.
Okay, next up, um,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump to the other side of the spectrum from love to
Good
yeah.
God
The
Almighty.
NXT Women's Championship match, Asuka defending in a fatal four-way versus Nikki Cross, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce.
Oh my goodness.
Let me just go ahead and throw out my hot takes here.
Ember Moon. Andre, real quick, Ember Moon, I'm begging you, get your ass ready for WrestleMania weekend because we are going to be there. Save us from this bullshit.
I got a hot take for you.
There
This
you go.
was without question the worst women's championship match that I've seen on an NXT special. I have
Oh,
no doubt in my mind whatsoever. There were a few
some.
nice things sprinkled about. Nikki Cross, I like the little bit of offense that she had on
Oh yeah.
Asuka because it's like every time they were getting ready to go, then you had Billie Kay and Peyton Royce jump in to stop them before things got entertaining. So there was some nice stuff from Nikki Cross and the little that I saw of her versus Asuka, and then Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the suplex that they delivered to Nikki through the table near the announcers.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was
I give him credit for that.
yeah. But other than that, nothing.
I
Like I
mean,
cannot fucking stand Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I
yeah,
cannot. Like the
I can't stand
sophomoric
him either.
BS and just I don't
Yeah,
like it.
like,
And to think they
like
won Breakout Stars of
yeah, I was
2016.
like, yeah, I was like,
What?
what the blue fuck? Like what the hell did you guys do besides get like an awkwardly seen push? And you know, okay, time to turn on the analyst in me. Okay, again, this was one of the matches that I was again very looking closely because Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross have not been pushed to the level of our four horsewomen from
Mm-hmm.
NXT. They haven't been pushed to that level. They haven't gotten much TV time, and this was pretty much the opportunity for them to shine and then prove to themselves and prove to the roster. Because I guarantee you, all the NXT fans knew damn well that Peyton Royce and Billie Kay and Nikki Cross probably were gonna be the most awkward the most awkward opponents for Asuka. But this was their opportunity, and I wanted them to shine. And unfortunately, they did not do that well of a job.
Mm-mm.
Like seriously, it's just they just don't look at them at the same level. And like I said, they just haven't been pushed to that level. I mean, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, like I actually thought of this reference this morning. I'm like, these guys are trying to be laid cool, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it's really not. It's really not being good. Here's the thing: I don't know if they are. I'm giving them credit for trying because at least NXT is trying to push something.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, though, it's like again, the reason why this match was put together was because they wanted to save Ember Moon. I get it. But they also wanted to see what these women could do. And also, you could really technically hide the flaws more in in this NXT championship, which was for the women's side, in a fatal four-way match. But yet, there
Mm-mm.
were a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws that were just not good. Jay, take it away.
Yeah, I criticized Billie Kay and Peyton Royce on Twitter, and somebody, tried to call me out talking about, well, you like Lay Cool, basically saying that that's hypocritical. But the thing is,
That's
I know Lay Cool. They're no Lay
mm-hmm.
Cool. They may have the same foundation as Lay Cool, but they don't have the charisma. They don't have they don't have the chemistry to get
Yeah.
anywhere near that level. And if you say this was a showcase, this was a platform to show what they're all
Then they're,
about, they
then they're not
flopped.
ready.
They
Yeah,
flopped.
again, like unfortunately, and here's the thing. I actually heard a lot of people saying with this match was nuts. I'm like, with this match on, this is probably going to be the weakest takeover card now that this match is on here. And I'm like, did you guys not know what you were getting into when you started to watch NXT and you guys were the ones that helped take this product to what it was today? That you had to know what kind of stuff you were getting yourself into. You had to know like this kind of stuff is going to happen. And in order for people to get better, in order for people to actually get chances, stuff like this is actually going to have to
Yeah.
happen. It's gonna have to happen, and I just hope that they take what they got from this and learn from it and actually experience it. Like Jay, I'm serious. Like, I want every single person on the NXT roster that was on this show actually take this and run with it. Show them that we can still be NXT. Like, it just,
And it's very interesting that you bring that up, because this event happened in the shadow of Triple H doing an interview and saying that he's not happy with where
there you
NXT
go.
is right now. Because if you take into account WWE and the brand extension and them raiding the
Everybody's
hell out
gone.
of NXT, it took a lot of people. And you look at someone like Nia Jax. You could just tell that she was getting ready for something big in the women's division. They take her, they take Alexa Bliss, they take they take Finn Balor, they
raided everybody.
yeah, and that's one of those times where we have to realize what NXT actually is, because I'm quite sure Triple H looks at NXT as if it belongs on the same level of Raw and SmackDown. It's like this standalone brand for WWE, but the ultimate goal of NXT is to basically provide for the main roster. And you get those moments where you can sit back and you can enjoy NXT, and we did for a very long time. But when Daddy comes home and Daddy he starts calling, you got to provide.
But you know, it's funny. I actually thought we were just going to get Nikki Cross versus Asuka at this takeover. I think that would have been much better, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was waiting. They kept friggin' ruining it. Like, they kept jumping in and just interrupting.
I will say this, though.
I wish I would have seen more of those two, because you pair Asuka's just dominance and power with Nikki and her like craziness. I think that would have been an
I will say,
interesting
though.
pairing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree. Oh, real quick, I will say, though, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, beautiful women. Ain't got no problem with that. But in the ring. Oh, and it's funny. You can tell the crowd actually knows they're bad, because every single time they grab a microphone, it is dreadful.
Okay.
The main event time?
Yes, main event time. This was a match for Shinsuke Nakamura's NXT Championship. Nakamura versus the glorious Bobby Roode. And this match, I think it was at the point where Nakamura was in the corner and he yelled, "Come on." That's where things really kicked into high gear. And it's like, that was a turning point in the match.
Really
I'm not
was.
necessarily saying that it was bad before. I was sitting back and I was like, okay, this is nice, solid match. But when you got to that spot in the corner where Nakamura was like, "Come on," I was like, okay, goddamn, that it just completely transformed into something different. They were selling this knee injury for Nakamura. He went for a knee strike from the top rope to Bobby Roode. He was on the apron, and I guess he injured his knee on the way down, and that just, like I said, transformed the match into something that led to Bobby Roode winning the NXT Championship.
You mean our new glorious NXT champion?
Yeah, got to show the proper respect. The glorious
those entrances, though, I will say, I think Nakamura actually won this one because he actually pretended he was floating, and I ain't seen that done since Mania 21 with the Undertaker. But that's around the point. Again, I was looking at this match, and this is a fresh new main event. This is the first time that these two have actually gone one-on-one on WWE TV. They've done it at live events, but first time on TV. You have these two guys that you've been building since last year's TakeOver. You do a good job with it. And again, I talked to you about this off air, Jay, on how these are two different characters, two different styles in the ring, two different personalities that have never faced, and they're going to have to collide. And the match was very solid from a technical aspect, and especially from a psychology standpoint, because again, like Bobby Roode, his character is pretty much cautious. He's trying to be careful because he's just trying to get in Nakamura's head the best he can. I will say I did think that the taunts were kind of overplayed a bit in this match, but like I said, but that's just me. And I actually thought they kind of overbooked it in the end with with Nakamura.
See, for me, I thought that match needed some kind of drama because
Yeah,
before that happened, I was just sitting there and
technical.
I was so ready to say,
Good night.
Authors of Pain versus DIY match of the night. Like that was that was
There
in
you
my
go.
mind. I was thinking, okay, what can Bobby Roode and Nakamura do to
Hmm.
snatch that title away? And can I go as far as to say that they did that? I don't know. We'll see once we get done talking about it. But at the very least, that put them into contention. I was waiting on something to happen to add some drama and
Yeah, something need
intrigue
to
to
pull
that
you
match,
in.
and exactly, and that pulled me in.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Like the only reason why I say I think it was overbooked is because they've done this kind of thing
Hmm.
before with Nakamura. Like, because right, one of my things about Nakamura was the fact that I thought he was being overprotected. Like they made him look like just such an unstoppable force when Nakamura is definitely not that unstoppable. If you watch his New Japan work,
Hmm.
like seriously, it would take like two king shots or even more just to take out his opponent. But yeah, but I will say though, he definitely did a damn good job with the knee selling.
Hmm.
Because I guarantee, because he had the crowd, they had the crowd in the palm of their hands. And the funny thing is, it's like they got like a AJ. I don't know if you heard it, but they actually got a "This is awesome" chant as well, but it wasn't that loud.
Hmm.
They got one too. So yeah, it definitely took a while to pick up. But honestly, once it picked up, like I honestly thought he had like Rude had the championship after the first glorious bomb, which he
Hmm.
really needs to get a new finisher. Like please,
Yeah, that
like
was a nice
please.
near fall, and I
Oh
love
yeah,
the
like,
when Rude had him in the half Boston Crab. Oh my
mm-hmm.
god! And
Oh yeah, that was
Nakamura
good
was
too.
selling the entire hell out of that injury.
Cash Money Brandon says, "I wish Nakamura would have tapped." No, Nakamura is way too valuable for Rude to tap him out. Like they had to protect Nakamura somehow, and at least with him getting pinned, that's at least enough. And now you could actually build more of a story on how Rude is an undeserving champion because he took advantage of a fallen
Yeah.
Shinsuke. At least they can play off a story like that. And like I said, Rude's next NXT is the new NXT champion, and Nakamura in the Rumble tomorrow, or does he come to SmackDown or Raw next week?
Well,
Because
with the
I
whole
don't
knee
see it coming.
injury, did they like for see when I say stuff like this, it's me thinking with my logical brain,
Oh
knowing
yeah, yeah,
goddamn
absolutely.
well WWE if they decide, okay, well, his knee was completely screwed up, but in 24 hours he has been
Mm-hmm.
miraculously healed. They can go ahead and decide to do that, but
They really could.
in my brain I'm like, okay, well, the knee injury that tells me that he's not going to be there. But then what if that's a swerve where they're like, okay, you're going to think that he's not going to be there, but boom, he pops up just because you thought he wasn't going to be there. But let me say something about the person in the chat saying that they wish Nakamura would have tapped out. I kind of do too, but I understand, like I get where the viewer is coming from, and I get where
Yeah.
you're coming from too, because there's a certain stigma that exists in
Mm-hmm.
wrestling to where tapping out is less honorable than you just getting pinned for the 1 2 3. And I wish that stigma did not exist. I really do.
They built
It's a weird
Nakamura.
thing because it's like, okay, well, if you get pinned, you know, let's, chalk that up to the game, and, it happens. But if you tap out, it's like, oh my God, you actually made the conscious decision to give up, and you're a terrible person for that. I wish that wouldn't exist.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And of course, like here's the thing. It's like I hope like a lot of people don't go like Nakamura shouldn't have lost the title here. Like he just won the championship back. I honestly knew once Authors of Pain were gonna be champions, I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a new NXT champion tonight because I thought the same thing about DIY with the championships. And then it's like they really do use that cycle of they build somebody for months and months and months, and then when they face the champion, they win. They need to like watch that because they're starting to get. I don't know if you see it, Jay, but they're starting to get into that pattern.
Where you can like telegraph what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want. Hey, get this. A lot of people are saying that Nakamura should have passed out.
That would have worked too. But no, well, as long as they're still able to tell that story with Bobby Roode, that he took advantage of Nakamura, then that would have worked. Yeah, but
Yeah,
now
Draven G's like, I think. Oh, sorry, Jay. It's just Draven G saying in the chat he thinks that Dillinger is the perfect guy to beat Roode for the title. But that would really need to take a 3-month build, so we ain't got time for that.
Alrighty. Anything more to say? Well, I guess we can go ahead and deliver our overall thoughts on the show.
I thought the show was fun. Like, again, I was looking at the show being like we have a lot of new faces that people are just not familiar with at TakeOver. And honestly, for me, like I said, Jay, I want, like, here's the thing. When people, and get this, people were actually saying that this was the weakest TakeOver card they had seen in a while. And again, I'm like, did you guys not know what you were getting into when you bought into the NXT? Like, seriously, I know that this probably wasn't the strong card, but like, come on. Like, still, like, I even told you guys, don't sleep on DIY versus the Authors of Pain because I damn sure knew what both teams could bring, and they ended up pulling out a fantastic tag team match. Roode and Nakamura, a fresh new main event. We had a lot of fresh on the NXT roster. It was different, and I will say, while the show definitely wasn't up to par in my opinion with the rest, I still thought it was a fine show to watch.
Yeah, it was a good show to watch, and yeah, we can acknowledge that it isn't up to NXT standards that we would usually see, but then also we got to acknowledge that those standards were high as a motherfucker. Like they were
Yeah.
like unbelievably high. So this was a good show. But it does suffer a bit because of that women's championship match. Because flat out, I'm not used to seeing bad matches on takeovers, and that was a bad match. So it wouldn't matter what you got on the rest of the show because of that one. It does bring it down a few notches, but I'm not sitting here saying that I wasted my time watching. We got a damn good match with some great storytelling from Nakamura and Bobby Roode, a really good tag team championship match, some other solid matches on the show. So, yeah, this is a rebuilding phase for them. And with Triple H acknowledging publicly that he's not happy where NXT is, that gives me hope because it's not like you're just going to say that in public and then you're like, okay, well, let's continue on business as usual. It's establishing the status quo and continuing that. Once you admit that publicly, once you let everyone know that you're thinking that and you're the person that's in charge of booking it and, shifting and mixing and molding things and putting everything into place, you got to do something about that because I'll be damned if I sit here and say, oh, yeah, well, it's not at the place where I want it to be. And I have the power to get it closer to where I want it to be. And I don't do anything about it. Get the hell out of here. So, yeah, Triple H, the ball is in your court. Let's see what you do. And I will be here watching. Like, I'm going to start back watching NXT. And, I look forward to seeing how Triple H meets this challenge.
I look forward to the challenge. Oh, real quick, what did you think of Joe making an appearance in the audience?
I thought that was cool. It was nice to see Joe just chilling out there.
Didn't think much of it because, I also didn't think much of it, to be honest with you.
We also had
I know it's Samoa Joe, but here's the thing: if Cat, who are the? Oh yeah,
the UK champion. And Matt Riddle, he was out there.
That was interesting. And Oh yeah, Matt. And also, damn, Mike, racist ass Michael Hayes.
Oh yeah, him. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Don't even get me started with that. With that dude, we cannot Booker T with the championship at WrestleMania. It would be bad. Jeez. Real quick. Thank goodness Nigel McGuinness's ass is gonna be on commentary.
Oh yes, I heard that too. He's going to be replacing Corey Graves.
That was a sad moment for me because I'm gonna miss Corey saying, "Shut up, Tom."
Yeah, I love that partnership, Tom Phillips and Corey Graves. But
Yeah,
good luck
they're
to
very
Nigel
good.
McGuinness.
Oh yeah, there you go. Welcome home to my second home away from home.
Alrighty, guys, that's it for our WWE NXT TakeOver San Antonio review. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Just give us a thumbs, whatever thumb you decide. And yeah, that's it for us. I'll be back tomorrow for the Royal Rumble. Until then, peace out.
NXT.